Hey you all, also hi to fellow dressmakers. You're welcome to another interesting tutorial. My name is Confidence. In this video, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew this simple bubu style with a fringe hem. So I'll be showing you how to go about the calculation, how to cut and how to sew this bubu dress, and also how to attach the fringe the proper way. So if you're interested in something like that, make sure you watch this video to the very end.
Hello, you don't even know my name, but I am happy you came by.
These are all the materials we've been needing to make this dress. I have my brocade and I have black crepe and I have this long fringe. It's about 20 inches length. I have my scissors, chalk and the measuring tape. Now let's go ahead and start with the black so that we can use that to trace out on the brocade. I have about 2 yards of that crepe. I will not be using all, so you'll be needing at least 1 yard depending on the length of the person you're working with. I've been needing about 40 inches out of the 2 yards here. Now let's go ahead and fold. And before folding, let's talk about the calculation. The whole length I'm working with is 56 inches, and then the length of the fringe is 20 inches, but I'll be making it 18. Um I'll just say that the fringe is 18 inches, right? So the length of the gown is 56 total. The fringe length is 18. Now you go ahead and minus 18 from the 56 inches and then you have 38 inches left. So we'll be cutting this 38 inches on this black now, and I'll be adding extra 2 inches as folding allowance. So basically 38 plus 2 inches would give us 40 inches, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and fold the fabric. And then to fold your fabric, you will have to get the shoulder of the person plus the sleeve length. That's how you know how to fold the fabric, right? I'll be showing you now. So first, my fabric is folded here, is on fold. Then I measure the shoulder measurement divided by 2, and then from that shoulder point I measure the sleeve length, just the length that I want the sleeve to be. That's basically how you know how to fold your fabric, so you don't waste it. Now the next thing I'll do is to start from this top here and then measure the bust line. To know what to be your bust line, whatever you use for your armhole measurement, just go ahead and add 2 inches. Let's say your armhole length is 8 inches, add extra 2 inches to get this bust line, right? Then I'll measure the waist, the hip, and then the other one will be the length. Now go to that sleeve length, that length of the sleeve, measure 2 inches from that point and then slant it to the shoulder area. You can totally ignore this, but I like to do this. Now start from this new line here, this new 2 inches that we used to slant the shoulder, and then measure round the sleeve measurement of the person you're working with. So mine is 10 inches, but I'll be adding extra 2 inches, making it 12 inches. You can add 3 or even 1 inch depending on what you want, but this 2 inches is very okay for me. The next thing I'll do is to measure what I have from that sleeve length, from the edge to that sleeve length, and then whatever I have there, I'll just minus 1 inch and then mark it at this round sleeve measurement. I hope you're following. Then I'll connect it like so. Next, I'll come to this bust line and do my bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra 3.5 inch. So you can do anything between 2 inches to even 5 inches depending on how big you want it, right? And then on the waistline, I'll do the same thing. My waist circumference divided by 4 plus extra 3.5 as allowance. I'll do the same thing for the hip. Note that you can just mark whatever you have as your hip measurement divided by 4 plus extra allowance that you wish. You can mark that on both the bust line, waistline, and then the hem. But I like doing mine like this, measuring the person's circumference and then each circumference then add allowance there. The next thing I'll just do is to go ahead and connect it like so. Now for the hem, I'm using 2 yards of that fringe. I forgot to mention it. 2 years of the fringe, and 1 yard is 36 inches. So whatever you're doing for your hem, make sure that it will be the same length with the 36 inches. I hope you understand that. And this person I'm working with is on a big side. So her hip is 58 inches divided by 4 would be 14.5 plus 3.5 allowance, that's 18 inches. So I did exactly that 18 inches at the hem. And for the neckline, I did 4 by 3. Now this is the back neckline, so you can choose to do it anyhow or any low you want it. So I did 4 by 3, 4 for width and 3 for depth. Now that we are done with this one, let's go ahead and trace it out on the brocade. And as you can see, this black is longer with 1 inch, because this brocade, she already used it for something else before, so the down part is already folded, meaning that we won't be needing to fold the brocade again. And then I added extra 1 inch for folding allowance for the black, and that's what we have here. I'll just basically go ahead and trace out everything here except for the neckline, which I'll just notch the neck width to use that to know where the neck width is, and then I'll determine the depth. And for the depth, it will be 4 by 10. 4 by 10 is not standard. Like I said, my customer is on a big side, so this 10 inches is okay for her. Then I'll just go ahead and cut off the neckline. And we're almost done with the bodies. Next thing I'll just go ahead and do is to cut the facing for the sleeves. There's a facing or band at the sleeve, just facing, because I'm not doing it band. I just fold my fabric like this and then measure the round sleeve plus extra allowance. You remember the round sleeve is 12 inches, which is 24, plus extra allowance of at least 2 inches. You measure your round sleeve plus at least 2 inches just to be excess. Then I'm just measuring 5 inches here. By the time I fold it, it will be 2.5. I'm cutting for the 2. I hope this is not confusing you. Just go ahead and cut the sleeve facing with your round sleeve measurement. It's that simple, right? Then for the width, you can do anything between 2 inches to 3 inches. That is unfold. I hope you get that. And this is what I have after cutting. By the time I fold it like so, you see that I have 2.5, right? So I'll just go ahead and stitch it there, and then I'll show you the next thing to do. And the next thing we'll do is to go ahead and close the dress, the bubu itself. Keep the black and then take the brocade and place it on it like so, shoulder to shoulder, right side facing right side. Then you go ahead and stitch it on the shoulder line, and then I'll use bias to pipe the neckline to have something like this. Can you see that? Make sure you iron as you go. Just press as you go. By the time I iron this thing, you will see that the neckline will be very flat and neat. Now let's go ahead and do the sleeve facing, and as you can see, I'm done with this one. Can you see that? So I'll just show you how to do that. You keep the sleeve part of your dress like so, then you take the facing, fold it into 2, fold it like so. Make sure that you're folding it on the wrong side. I hope you understand. So the right side will be facing you. It's where you can see, you'll be seeing the right side. Then turn the sleeve part to the wrong side like so, where you'll be seeing the shoulder joining, right? Then go ahead and place it like so. Make sure it's excess on one side and then excess on this side too. Then you go ahead and stitch it. By the time you're done stitching, you just flip it to the right side. It's very simple. But then you can choose to top stitch. Let the top stitching go to the dress. I hope you understand. So just go ahead and do it to have something like this. As you can see, I top stitched this one, so that way it will be very flat even without iron. I'll just go ahead and do it now, and then after that I'll just close the side. That's just basically it. And this is what we have. Can you see that? I just close with 1/2 inch on both sides. You remember we added 3.5 allowance. I used 1/2 inch to close the dress. I hope you see that. And this is the facing. I've not ironed it, but you can see that the top stitch helped it to be very flat even without ironing it. I'm practically done with everything about this dress except for the fringe. As you can see, I already hemmed the down part so that it will be the same thing with the brocade. So now let's go ahead and do the fringe, which is the final part of this. What you do is you go ahead and take it on both sides, fold it into two to have the midpoint of this. Again, depending on the person you're working with, depending on the person measurement, make sure that the down part is equal to the yardage you're using for the fringe. Now, after getting the midpoint, you take the fringe. This part is very important because the way you stitch the fringe would help you not to have issues of the fringe falling out later on. So go ahead and place it like so on that midpoint, and then you are going to stitch on one end first. You stitch it all around, then after that you go ahead and stitch on the upper part. Make sure that you see that thing that looks like band for the fringe. Make sure you are not stretching it. Make sure it's just like it is here. Then you go ahead and stitch it all around. That way you would have a very uniform fringe after stitching it. It won't be like the fringe is separate or something like that. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And after you are done, you should have something like this. Look at that. Can you see the fringe? So you should have something like this after you are done stitching. And like I said, I stitched twice. First on the down part just to secure the fringe from falling apart, and later on the upper part just to make it very neat and firm. So what you do is you go ahead and iron it. That's the very last thing you do on this dress. Iron it very neatly for the shape to come out. And voila, we are done. So this will be the end of our tutorial. I hope you gained something today. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you on my next one. Be good. Bye.
I don't wanna hear her say, I don't wanna hear her say you day with another man.